And we're joined by head coach of the Trenton Devils, Kevin Dean, as Trenton makes its return to the Cambria County War Memorial against the Wheeling Nailers. Coach, I know that you've been here before, but it's been a long time. What do you think of the War Memorial here?
It's had a nice facelift since I've been here in '92, but they have new seats. It was wood seats when I was here before. The new blue seats really brighten it up, and then I think they did the outside of the building too, maybe with some new brick. It looks nice.
And right where we're seated here is a very nice little kind of bar area right behind one of the nets, doing as best they can to really make this facility fan-friendly, and we'll see what kind of fan base there is tonight for a team that is not really playing at home. Does that diminish any sort of home ice advantage? Is there a home ice advantage in the ECHL?
I don't know. I'd have to look at the stats for that. I think there has to be some. I mean, anytime you're playing in your own building and you have your own routines, are easy to stick to, and I think that's an advantage. On the flip side of it, though, sometimes the crowd gets you a little too emotional, and you feel like you got to impress the crowd. And sometimes you could get away from effective winning hockey. But tonight, I don't know. I think it'll be a slight advantage for Wheeling. They'll have a lot of people here, I'm sure, and they're going to come in, and it's a new barn, and it'll be exciting.
And Trenton will play 4 of the 10 games Wheeling will play in this building, and perhaps some people tonight will be rooting for the Devils, which could be very interesting. On the Nailers side, they're also playing their second of 3 games in 3 different cities in 3 nights. Maybe it's a bigger issue tomorrow, but they're coming off an overtime victory up in Elmira. They've got to come back here for the first game in this building. It's kind of a weird situation for them.
It is. I think having a long week off like we did, I think that works against us a little bit, especially early. I think, early they're going to have better legs and they'll have a little bit more sharpness because they played last night. I think as the game goes on, it should work in our favor after the first period. I think that, it should tilt our way a little bit. At least that's what I'm hoping.
One of the other things that might work against you guys is the loss of Andy Thomas. He goes down in the third period. Olivier LaBelle has a little run-in with Andy. He's going to be out for a little bit. What's his status and an injury update for the roster?
Well, Andy's, he's going to be out probably at least another week, maybe 2. But he's getting better pretty quickly, so that's the good news. Matt Folks still has, that lower body injury that he's nursing. He's going to be out quite a while, and I think that might be it for now.
Gord is the only one that's Gord Burnett?
Yeah, Gord's back. It's better. It's gotten a lot better, a lot more quickly than we thought. He fell on it. He bruised that hip where the muscle attaches to the hip there. And he's getting better quickly, so that's also good news.
You guys are able to get that victory against Reading last Sunday after losing to Reading the night before in the season opener. Talk about that game. I know it's kind of a week ago now, so it's almost out of your memory, but obviously some things that you take out of every game, whether it's video, your own observations, etc.
Well, it was good. What I really liked about it is what we did when we did what we talked about what we wanted to do. We had a lot of success, and that's something to build on. And then the other good side of it is when we started getting sloppy and started doing things that we talk about not doing, we got hurt by that too. So there's some learning experiences, both good and bad there. I thought we played extremely well, especially in the first and second periods. And, it gives the guys a little taste of what it takes and how to win. And that's something that you just keep making incremental progress as the year goes.
And it certainly doesn't hurt when your captain leads by example and scores 2 quick goals in the first 4 minutes, and a great individual effort from your captain to maybe send a little bit of a message to the rest of the lineup.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because after the first night, I felt our older guys were a little bit sloppy with the puck. Called them in before the game on Sunday and said, look, you guys got to be a little better with the puck. Good effort and everything, but let's take care of the puck better. I think you guys will have more success. And and they all scored. The 4 guys I brought in, 3 of them scored, and that was great. Again, it's a learning experience. You tell these kids, if you do this, this will happen, and to have it actually follow through that quickly is a good.
And you guys end up put up 11 goals in 2 games, which is pretty good. Now on the other side, you also allowed 10 goals. Talk about the goaltending situation. Caruso, who had played and lost on Saturday. Jeff Lurk comes back and gets the win on Sunday. Talk about Lurk's performance Sunday and then what you're planning for this weekend.
Well, David's going to play tonight, and we'll go from there, see how David does and how much work he has, and we'll go from there. I thought the goaltending was not our problem last weekend. I thought both goalies played well in both games. It's just we left them, hung out to dry a few times, and so. That's stuff that's going to happen early in the year, younger team. We just got to, correct it quickly.
One of the guys that we saw in one game out the next was Ryan Hayes. Another guy that was out then in was Matt Kang. After we saw those two guys work well together in the preseason, might we see them together tonight, especially Matt Kang playing at a building that was his home last year?
No, Matt's not going to play tonight. We did a lot of extra work with him. Hayes is going to come back in the lineup tonight. He played very well that first game, and and as did Kang last game. It's just, we got a lot of good hockey players, and the constitution and makeup of our team. You want to, you got to complement the lines a little bit, and so, right now I just feel one of those guys in the lineup is enough at this time. We need some size and some grit. You get that from like Berube and Atkinson, so those guys have to play. So, for right now, Hayes is in tonight, and we'll see how he does and how everyone else does, and we'll take a look tomorrow.
Speaking of the number of guys that you've got here and in this organization that are kind of moving up, one guy you know pretty well, Olivier Magna, makes his NHL debut. Former Trenton guy. You know him from Lowell. He's been there the last few seasons. Pretty cool to have someone make that transition and play well in his NHL debut.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier. If he told me one guy you want to go get called up and play well, it would have been Olivier Magna. He has put his time in, like you said, down in Trenton. He came up to Lowell. He had some tough stretches. But, he just worked through them. He worked hard. He kept a great attitude. He did whatever you asked him to do. And his game, incrementally is improved every year. And he's just such a big, strong kid that, I think he can play in the NHL. I think he can stay in the NHL. We'll just see if they have room for him or not.
And I think one of the comments I heard, I believe he was paired with Andy Green in that game. And they say that, he just made his D partner even better, something that he has done in the past.
You talking about Andy?
Talking about Olivier working with someone and making his partner better.
Yeah, and that's something we talked a lot with Olivier in Lowell, is just get the puck and move it to either to your partner or to the open winger and keep the game simple. Because, like I say, he's extremely physical. He's a physical specimen. He can close on guys quick. He can punish guys in the corner, and if he simplifies his game, gets the puck, moves it to his partner, which is in this case a very talented kid, or gets the puck and move it to the wings, he's going to have very little trouble in any game.
He said the only adjustment he had to make was perhaps moving the puck a little bit more quickly, and that sort of speed thing and transition from one level to the next. And some of the guys here, I think a lot of people were thinking someone maybe like T.J. Miller, a draft pick, Darcy Zajac, some of these guys that maybe with a higher profile are expected to move on somewhat quickly. How hard is it to make that step from the ECHL to the AHL to the NHL for these guys, especially some of those in particular?
It's different for every guy. It depends what your strengths and weaknesses are. For T.J. Miller, I think it's just a matter of getting used to pro hockey. His skills are good enough to play in the next league, and I think once he figures out the pace a little bit and the grind and the physicality and the urgency that it takes to play professional hockey, I think he'll be fine, and he'll be at the American League level. A kid like Darcy, it's kind of the same thing. He's got a couple habits defensively that we're working on. He knows about them, and he's going to work on them. And when he conquers those, and gets a real, grinding type game, which is to his strength, I think he's ready for the American League as well.
You mentioned a moment ago about some of the gritty effort you'd like to see, guys like Atkinson, Berube. This rink is interesting because of the very shallow corners. It's a old barn, of course. It's 60 years old now. Does that influence how you guys play this game, or something that you keep an eye on? Maybe Vince Williams keeps an eye on?
It's not going to influence how we play the game. We just have to be a little bit more in tune with some of the things that are going to happen. Like when you make a mistake, it's going to be, the puck's going to get to your net more quickly. But, again, I think we got a couple guys, like Agus, Brugge, Nagy, Janan that can really skate, and to me, if we get the puck deep all night on their defensemen, get those four guys among others, Zajac and, some of these other guys, it's going to be tough on their defensemen. So you don't game plan around it because you have to play to your strengths, but, if they complement your strengths, then why not, make mention of that and try to do it more.
Any concern with the defense right now? As we mentioned, the loss of Andy Thomas, no Gord Burnett. Any concern there? A lot of rookies maybe in that defensive side?
Oh, no, I think they're all pretty capable. Vince does a real good job of making them aware of what, they need to do to be successful. Taylor Vichorek probably play more defense than wing tonight. And, he practiced at defense yesterday, looked great. I think he's very capable. It's just, it's defense is a team, it's a team game, so to speak. It's a team commitment. And if our forwards are doing what they need to do, it makes it really easy for our defensemen. So hopefully the five guys in unison can make it easy for everyone else.
First road trip for the Trenton Devils, 2 towns against the Wheeling Nailers in Johnstown tonight. Kevin Dean, thanks and good luck.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. This is Trenton Devils Hockey.